Let's paint weights on the hip. We'll select the hip object and just rotate it around to see what we're working with. And really, we don't have too much to deal with here. It doesn't look too bad. Okay, if we were to undo this, even show a wireframe, I like to do this at times to see exactly how the vertices are behaving. And yes, it doesn't look too bad at all. Okay, we really don't need to worry about the abs here. So let's go ahead and just look at the back. And the back is moving quite well too. Alright, so once we've double checked these areas, we can go right in and begin. We'll select our character, can go to a wireframe, or you could even use X-ray if you'd like. But again, we just select a few of the vertices that make up this hip, grow our selection till we have all of them selected, and then in our component editor we find our hip, okay, which should be labeled the BNSPA. Here it is. We'll select the topmost text field and then go down and select the bottommost and put in a full weighting of 1. So already, if we close this out and view this, going back to object mode, let's see the difference. And notice that looks much better than before. Great. So that is really what we need to do for this hip object, and we have a few others to work with here. We have the leg. If we were to, let's say, just select it and constrain its translate X, so we can just move in the Y and Z. We can go ahead and move this up. And as we do, we can see that, alright, we have a few points here that we can basically tie down also to our spine A bone. So we can select these points. Make sure to have only these that are protruding selected. And with them selected, we can go to the component editor again and simply add a full weighting to that same bone. Alrighty, so that's it for that. And then we have another point here coming out. Could even go to wireframe to view this, and then if we were to even use X-ray, you can see that X-ray might not be a bad solution too. Alright, so it looks like we even have another point here we can fix the weighting of. Okay, so we'll just grab those points that we know should be affiliated with this bone, go back to our component editor, go to our spine A, and give them a full weighting. Wonderful. Alright, let's see if there's anything else. It looks like there's another point here that can be fixed. So I'll just double check this. We can do that in the component editor, and yes, we can fix that. So we really want to look at our topology of the model and look at where we have deformations occurring, and then from there we can decide exactly where we need to add our envelopes. Okay, great. So bringing the leg back down, we can go ahead and just select it and even turn off wireframe, or excuse me, X-ray, just to see how everything is deforming now. Great. So notice how much better that looks. This is really coming together already. Well, with that now done, we can spend that same amount of time focusing on the right arm. And again, I still have the Y and Z direction as the only directions moving with the move tool. The X is tied down, and again, if you like to do that, you'd simply hold Control and click on the direction you like to limit. Alright, so you can bring up this leg and look at what's occurring here. You can go ahead and select our points that are causing us problems. And with those selected, again, going back, and they'll actually be tied to the same bone. So we'll make sure of that. We'll look at any other areas. And we really should just have the same areas to work with here that we'll need to add our, or fix the weighting on. So it shouldn't be too challenging for us at all. We'll grab these inner points that need to be fixed. Okay, and let's see if there's any others. I'll go ahead and deselect this one. Didn't really need that front one selected there. That looks like it should be it really. So going back to the component editor, we'll go to our spline A and add the weighting. A full amount of weighting of 1. Okay, so going back into our object mode, if we select our control and move this around, everything is just fine. Excellent. And then if you'd like to then unlock your X direction, if you have locked that, you could hold control and select the center of the Move Tools axis. And notice that should go right back to giving you full control over moving all axes. Alright, so there's our hip. Notice how much better it looked. Remember how it looked before? Now this really has come along quite well and very quickly too. So that finishes the hip object. We're going to go over just a few more areas. For example, the hoses. Let's go ahead and even look at the fingers and select that and deform those. Let's see. Alright, we have a few areas even to fix on the fingers. So let's say we stop the lesson here, and in the next lesson we'll bring our attention to how we can edit the bind deformations of the fingers.